Alright, so Prodigy and Kid Swag about to jerk Space Rangers, Kid Swag, Prodigy, and Toy Story, but I'm not jerking in this video. You know what it is. So yeah, right like that. About to get off.
We like that.
Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Black and yellow.
Let go. Let go.
Overnight, man, it took a little time, jerking shit so time. It was gonna make it. Yeah, I was going too quick, but my did what it is. Thank you, bring me in. But you can't tag, girl, you spring. Please don't tag, please don't move. Never on the head. Hey, that nigga is scalp and laugh. Yes, I'm bloodless like a bubble bee. Your girlfriend is a bee. Hey, that nigga is keeping me great.
Love you.